the power.
Guys, welcome to Better Bachelor. My name is Joker with a face for radio and a voice for print. You know, The Acolyte is the best thing to happen to Star Wars in decades. And I mean that, and I'm not trolling. And no, I haven't been smoking the ganja, nor did I get recently kicked in the head by a mule. I genuinely mean it. I wrote down all the reasons on a notepad here. And I wanted to talk about this for a minute because, you know, when things are going crazy, and it's very easy to look at all the negative, a lot of times there's positive things out of it as well. I've always tried to say, even if you make a mistake or even if you did something that's really stupid, if you walk away with a really good lesson, then it wasn't so stupid. Now, ironically, none of the people at Disney or the showrunners and producers, none of them are learning the lesson. We're learning the lesson, and we're having fun while we're doing it. So I want to talk about all the good that's come out of this, because I think it's important, and I think it's a way to reframe the way you view things sometimes. So, number one, if you haven't seen all the media stories are coming out and blaming everything on the fans for not liking this, and that's a good thing. Because what it does, this is number one, the 10 reasons, I'll say this, the 10 reasons why The Acolyte is good, the best thing to happen in Star Wars in a long time, and all the positives we can take away from The Acolyte. It's better than anything Disney's done since probably the original, like what would it be, episodes 1, 2, and 3, I guess? Is it distances media from the readers. It makes people distrust the media that much more. That's a good thing. Too many times people have read the news and they just believe it because the news, well, they tell the truth. It's the news. Only to later find out, oh, the media and the news was lying to me. This creates a rift, a gap between audiences and the people writing this stuff, audiences and the creators, audiences and the actors, audiences and Hollywood, audiences and the executives. That's all good. Even audiences in the government. That's all good things. That's good. It means more and more people are waking up to distrust what we're being told by the journalists, or journalists as I call them, and the people in power. That's great. They need us, see? The government needs us for taxes. If they draft us, they need us to fight. If they want to stay in business, they need us to give them money. And they lost that message somewhere. They forgot that. And now, when they insult us, and they make fun of us, and they hate on us, they come at us and they're like, you need to give us money. Because if you don't, you're a bigot. If you don't, you're an Isterophobe. If you don't, you're actually the bad guy. And maybe a decade ago, people were like, am I really the bad guy here? Like, am I missing something? That doesn't work anymore. Now people laugh. Call somebody an Isterophobe. They'll tell you to F off, and they have a laugh about it. Because it's been overused. It's been burnt to the ground. And it's things like this screen rant, The Acolyte's backlash and review bombing explain what's really going on. They say The Acolyte's diversity and representation have sparked controversy. Nope, that's not it. And nor is it review bombing. What's happening is they keep coming forward with the message that we're tired of hearing, but it's actually also really bad writing. This is really badly written. The story doesn't make sense. I've seen so many videos explaining how the story is wrong. They've screwed up canon in Star Wars. They've screwed up timelines. And it's hokey. It's cringe. That's why. And Disney's going right on saying The Acolyte it's a success, everybody. It's a success. It proves the backlash and review bombing is confected, not reflecting reality at all. This is called gaslighting, and this is fine. Because again, it makes the average person that is not in the know, they say, well, these fans are awful. And then they watch YouTube videos, and then they watch, or maybe they watch the series themselves, and they go, oh, this is really bad. That's one more person that doesn't believe Screen Rant or any of these other channels. from Forbes. The Acolyte's 15% audience score is embarrassing. For the audience scorers, keep writing this stuff. Keep it up, please. Please. Because, again, it just makes people not believe in the news anymore. Let me see if I can pin that. Why does this not want to resize? Wow, whoever does the web coding for Forbes is not very good. Number 2, the second reason why Acolyte is the best thing to happen to Star Wars in decades. The creatives are now blaming fans for its failure. They hate us. They hate us. Let me bring up this right here. Star Wars lead actress Amandla Stenberg just put out a song about how oppressed she is. This is a young woman that is half white, and she's been involved in Star Wars projects since she was 4. She's worked with and for Star Wars since she was 4. And now, because everybody doesn't like her TV show, she put out a music video that she put together in 72 hours to tell everybody how oppressed she is. This is awesome. This is like, oh, just let me just snort this excitement right up my nose. She's out in the street dancing around and saying how oppressed and how put down she is. These other creatives, the people that make the Acolyte and all this other stuff, they say it's misogyny and it's all the isms and phobes, and these people just don't understand us. Please keep going with that. Please keep going with that, because it's taking the DEI and the wait, do I have the, where's my mega? The message. It's taking that and it's turning it up to 13. And even normies and people that don't care about this are kind of getting to the point of, would you please shut up about this already? It's turning it up to 11. I love it. Because they're going to keep burning everything to the ground, and they're going to blame us as we sit there and laugh at them as they burn their own house down to the ground. I love that. That is a positive. That's a good thing. Number 3. $180 million burned on this atrocity for this entertainment. And it is entertaining, but for all the reasons Disney hates, but we love. But we'll get to that in a moment. $180 million burned to the ground for the message. And it also proves that female writers, directors, producers, the showrunners, the ones that are pushing this stuff, they're not any good at doing any of their jobs. They can't write. The timelines make no sense. They've changed canon to try to make things fit in where they want it. Their stories are predictable. They're lame. They're cringy. And so what it's doing is it's making other companies and people that have their heads screwed on straight say, these people are crazy. They can't produce they can't make anything that's going to make us money. We need to start avoiding them. Now, maybe there's many places right now that are too scared to say they're going to avoid these people, but they will avoid these creatives because they can't help but put all the messages out there. And then they go on publicity tours that say, we're trying to scare white people. We're trying to scare men. We're trying to make them angry. We want to see them cry. Okay, good luck to you. And they can't help but inject the message into everything. These people are going to be out of jobs. I mean, sure, they'll go along and keep getting jobs, but everything they touch, they'll burn to the ground. I'm okay with that. I don't need to go see the projects that they're touching. I can keep my money in my pocket and just laugh at them as all of them fail. And if you look at the gaming world, everything that Sweet Baby Inc. touches burns to the ground. Because now there's actual video game accounts out there that are warning people, hey, Sweet Baby Inc., the company that's all about injecting DEI and all the story in that, they worked on this project. Stay away from that game. And there's a whole lot of gamers that are looking out for that. So those projects will burn to the ground. Eventually, gaming studios will either employ Sweet Baby Inc. and they'll fail and go bankrupt, or have to lay off 90% of their staffs, like many of these game studios are doing, AAA game studios laying off half the staff, or they're going to say, we're not going to work with these people anymore. Anna Sarkeesian, anybody? It's going to happen. I think this is great. I think it's absolutely great that they're ruining women in doing these things. Number four, why The Acolyte is the best thing in decades. It's actually bringing the Star Wars community together, and they're bringing like-minded people together. Star Wars hasn't done that forever, since, I want to say, The Mandalorian Season 1, because Season 1 was pretty decent, and it had Gina Carano. And a lot of fans really liked Gina Carano. And then they fired Gina Carano. That brought fans together. But it didn't bring fans together for Star Wars. It brought fans together against Disney and Star Wars. And so because they all opposed it, they formed a community. They formed a community hating on Disney, hating on them for what they did to Gina Carano. That's a good thing. That's actually a positive. Not for Disney, not for Star Wars, but it's a positive for the fans, because everybody looks around and they say, I'm on your team, man. I don't like what they're doing to her. And then, as far as entertainment goes, I want you to listen. This is from a stream earlier today over at Geeks and Gamers. And this is Jeremy, D-Day Cobra, and Ryan Kinnell from the RK Outpost. Both good YouTube channels. I want you to hear them and what they think, and the excitement. Now, they hate The Acolyte as much as anybody, if not more so. But I want you to hear it straight from Jeremy's mouth on how excited he is now for Disney Star Wars.
Which is kind of like symbolic of Disney Star Wars. You have to go through the cringe. Although I'm just going to, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I've never been more excited to watch Disney Star Wars. I've never been this excited. This is the greatest thing ever. I look forward every week. I look forward to this shit show because it just gets cringier and cringier along the way. And I've been paying attention. So like some of the big channels, like Heavy Spoilers, for instance, okay? Heavy Spoilers, their breakdowns of The Acolyte are not getting the views that they would normally get for a show that's a massive show. They are not getting views to break these episodes down and kind of give a positive view on it. But everybody that's slamming it, man, they are getting mega views because people generally are far more excited to watch people roast this show than to watch this show.
I'm gonna pause it there for a second. And he brings up something that's I understand his excitement. You know, as a YouTube content creator, as a Rumble content creator, as a Locals content creator, coming across something that is interesting and exciting to talk about is tough. When you've done 1,000 videos across 5 years, you kind of do the whole, what am I going to talk about today? Like, I feel like I've talked about all of it. But now what we're doing is it went from watching a franchise, a storyline, a company, Star Wars. When I was a kid, Star Wars, I loved Star Wars. I wanted a lightsaber so bad, but all the toy ones broke. And I think I mentioned this before. So I took an old, I don't remember if it was a broom handle or an axe handle. I think it was a broom handle. And I taped the hilt up and I spray painted or took a marker or something or other and colored the rest of the broom handle blue. And I ran around my yard whacking at bushes and trees and making the sound effects of zzz. And I was Luke Skywalker when I was 8 or 10 or whatever it was. I love Star Wars. Now I hate Star Wars. I hate what it's become. And it's not that I get enjoyment out of hating it, but I do get joy out of joining with everybody else and laughing at how bad it is. Laughing at them taking an IP that was good and had a story and tons of books and a history to it that you could have pulled stories from that were already written, that were already really good, and you just had to translate that to movie, and they couldn't do it. They had to inject the message and the crap and they gave it to people that don't even understand or like Star Wars, and they destroyed it. And so in many ways, it's almost like watching a guy that had, man, I don't know if I can put this in words right. Let me try. It's like looking at your favorite car that you saw when you were a kid. For me, it was maybe a Porsche or a Lamborghini, one like Diablo or one of the 80s supercars, right? And always wanting one. And then this guy that's a complete douchebag asshat that throws insults at you and calls you all these names, gets in a Lamborghini, and you're like, oh man, why is a jerk like that able to have a Lamborghini? And then he tries to show off, and he steps on the gas too hard, and he spins out and flips the car and lands in a ditch, and he's got a broken leg. And all you do is laugh. You feel sad because it's a beautiful Lamborghini that's crashed, but you laugh your ass off because that dude just trashed a really expensive, nice car, and it was his. And you're like, good, you deserve that, asshole. You deserved that. Now you're out of, a $200,000 car, $250,000 car. You ruined it. Good, f*** you. That's funny. And you laugh at him. You laugh at his misery. You laugh at his loss. You laugh at his pain because he was a dick to you and he just trashed it. He trashed his own car. I think that's what people are looking at now. They're saying, I loved this franchise, and now they've destroyed it, and it's so bad I have to make fun of it, but I hate them, and they hate me. And they're making this because they hate me. They're rubbing my nose in it, so I'm going to enjoy this. I'm going to enjoy watching it fail and watch them destroy a billion-dollar brand. Not a trillion, but, billion-dollar brand, billions of dollars. They're throwing it all away. I'm going to take enjoyment in that. And then there's a bunch of people around you that are like, hell yeah, this is kind of fun. They're all laughing together. They're all having a good time at your expense, Disney. At your expense, Star Wars. That's a good thing. It's bringing people together. And so now, like this was a live stream. They had 6,000 viewers watching them live stream this. I think that's awesome. It's 6,000 people that are laughing and having a good time. And they're giving their time and their attention and their live tips and their money to other people that appreciate them, to other people that think like they do, that other people that are just like me, we're just dudes sitting in our basement, or in my case, a steel building out in the woods, making fun of the world's collapse, and people are like, I appreciate that. They mentioned something like that in this clip. I got another minute or two, but I do want you guys to hear how it is legitimately pulling people together.
They just are.
This is kind of what I've said for a really long time. When something is well received, when people are positive or hopeful about something, you know what's going to perform better? Not the videos that are slamming it or taking it down. The ones that are going to perform better are the ones where the other people that are talking about it are excited, where it's a positive spin, because that's what most people are looking for. Because if most people are positive about it, then most people are going to seek out that type of content. But if the overwhelming reaction is negative to something, you put out something positive, it's probably not going to do that well, because the vast majority of people aren't going to agree with you. That's not what they're going to seek out. They're going to seek out people that they think are being genuine about this shit, and that really aligns with what they think as well. So whenever people like, oh, they're just hopping on the negative bandwagon because this or that. Well, the truth is, the reason that a lot of these videos slamming the Acolyte or anything else, whether it's MCU, whether it's been Disney, Star Wars, the videos that are slamming it, the reason they take off, the reason those people's channels are growing is because there's a bunch of fucking people out there that agree with them about it.
I'm going to put a pin in that as well. I can't think of a recent example. Maybe in the video game world, it was Hogwarts Legacy. Maybe that's the biggest one that it doesn't matter if you are video game fans or not. You will understand where I'm coming from. Hogwarts Legacy didn't put any of the diversity and the craziness in there. And of course, J.K. Rowling was involved because it's a Harry Potter thing. It's a Harry Potter franchise. and all the ists or all the legitimate, like the LGHD TV, let me correct that. All the LGHD TV community people came out and they're like, you need to boycott Hogwarts Legacy because it's giving J.K. Rowling, who's a TERF and a horrible woman because she believes in biology, everybody needs to boycott this video game. And there were a lot of people, myself included, that said, I'm not even familiar with this video game, but I'm going to look into it now. And I did look into it, and a lot of people actually bought it just to piss off the chuds in the LGHD TV trans community. They bought it just to piss them off. And so it turned out to be a very successful game. They didn't tear down the game. They said, hey, you know, we've heard good reviews about this. It looks like a good game, and it's going to piss off all the right people. We're going to buy this. We're going to enjoy it. And it did very well. And a lot of people were saying, hey, I liked the game. I had fun. It was a pretty good game. That's people gathering to enjoy something. Now, yes, they did it also to make the other side angry, but they enjoyed it. They had a good time with it. And there were a lot of videos that were saying, hey, this is a pretty good game. I can't think of a movie that was really the same, but it would be like, I don't know, Tom Cruise in his latest Top Gun movie, right? It did very well at the box office. Reviews were great for it. People weren't hating on it. The videos that got all the views were the videos saying, this was a great movie. I really enjoyed this. You're not going to change people's minds. If something's bad, people will gather and congregate, and they will point fingers and say, that is bad. And you're not going to convince them it's good. And the opposite's true, too. If something's good and people that hate you come out and say, well, it's actually bad because it's misogynistic, you're not going to change people's mind. That's how you can kind of feel that you're on the right side of things. And when there's all this pushback and this cancel culture, it's not because the majority of people feel like they're on the right side of things. It's fear. It's fear that they're afraid of getting canceled or getting hated on or having news stories written about them in the news. Well, that's no longer working. Because now people are saying, you know what, I don't care what you think anymore. I'm going to say how I feel. And when you start doing that, people gather around and support your cause. And that's what's happening with this stuff. That's a good thing. It's showing you that the media hates you and Hollywood hates you and the government says things against you and that you're all the bad things. And everybody's kind of like, yeah, we don't care. You're not cool anymore. You're not interesting anymore. We're not listening to you anymore. That is a huge positive. And the Acolyte is making so many people that were kind of like, I didn't really pay attention to this, but now that I'm paying attention, wow, you're right. They really hate us. They don't care about us, and they want to shame us into liking what they're doing, and they can't. And they can't. And that is a huge positive that the Acolyte has helped strengthen in people.
Mm-hmm. Not because those people are having their mind changed by YouTubers, but because they're seeking out that content.
No, it's it. It's that simple. This is not complicated. It never has been complicated. The only people that complicate are the people that are downloading their new NPC updates and whining about stuff. But yeah, generally speaking, if you're enjoying something, you're not going to consume content that's shitting on the thing that you're enjoying. You're going to look for things that people are breaking it down and giving theories and kind of giving you that type of perspective that you're looking for. People hate the Acolyte. That's just a fact. There ain't nothing that they can do to spin that. And it's gotten worse because we have a diss track from one Amanda Stenberg. You want to pull that up? And
so that's where I stopped recording it. But that was the diss track is her right here. And they even talked about, like, you're young, you're successful, you're rich, you're in a Hollywood movie. Or not a Hollywood movie, a Disney movie. You've been, you know, I mean, your mother, I think it's her mother that's white. You're successful, and you're going to come out saying you're oppressed and that you're struggling and that you're suffering. See, it's laughable. It's insulting to us. Because here you've got somebody that's in Hollywood or in Disney, in the movies, on TV, makes more money than I'll ever see in my lifetime, And because you put out a crap product and people are making fun of you, you're going to say that you're the one that's being oppressed? I don't think so. And we're laughing at you. We're laughing at your ridiculousness. We're laughing at you gyrate on stage like you're the victim out of all of this. It's not working. And yes, you're going to have all your little fans and all your sycophants come out and say, oh, girl, you're so strong and brave and you're right. And okay, then they're the ones that are going to be buying your content. That's about 2% of the population. They're the ones, and most of them don't even have jobs. They're professional protesters and college students. Do you think they have Disney Plus to watch your crap? You're screaming into the void. Good luck to you. And again, more people are seeing the BS out there, and we've all collectively gathered to make fun of it. That is a good thing. I'm so glad the Acolyte is helping people do that. Let's see what else. Number 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 5. I'll speed this up a little bit. I'm going long. Number 5, countless hours of entertainment online and for content creators. And that goes back to Jeremy and these guys here over at Geeks and Gamers, and over at The Critical Drinker and Nerdrotic and Heels versus Babyface and Drunk 3PO. And all these guys are making hours and hours of content that are being viewed millions of times by hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people, and we're all laughing at you, and we're all having a good time together. That's these streams and people watching reaction videos and people watching this content on YouTube. There's been 3 or 4 episodes, and I don't know if it's an hour-long show but after ads and everything, an hour-long show's 40 minutes? So after 4 episodes, there's 160 minutes or about 3 hours of entertainment. People are getting a whole lot more entertainment and much longer, much more conversation, much deeper critical thinking by watching YouTube making fun of it. So they're actually getting more entertainment by watching the people roasting it. I think that's a great thing. They're getting more entertainment for free, versus paying Disney to watch their crap. That's a win. That's a win. So people are getting more enjoyment hating on the Acolyte than they would be from watching even a good Acolyte. That's another win. Let's see. It makes you appreciate the good Star Wars films better. I didn't like the second set of movies. The originals that I watched when I was a kid, which was 4, 5, and 6. Those are my favorites. 1, 2, and 3, I liked. They weren't awesome compared to this new stuff that's much better. And then the last 3, well, they're dog crap. And they make me appreciate the original, or the first 6, much more. They make you realize that what is it, Solo or some of the other not Solo. What was the other project they had? Oh, I forget. There's one of them. I didn't think it was great. It was okay. But now looking at the new content they're putting out, it was a masterpiece. It makes you appreciate the other stuff they did, because this is just so bad. It exhausts people even more of the message. And I know I mentioned that earlier. It's just more stuff of the message. They can't help it. And when the first time you're called an isterophobe, or the first time you see something that really concerns you, or what would be a good example? Like you watch a video where someone gets really hurt in an accident. You're like, oh man, I don't want to watch that crap. That's painful to watch. After you've seen thousands of them, now you're sitting there eating popcorn while somebody falls off a cliff and breaks their leg, and you're like, oh my God, that's crazy. And then you swipe to watch another one. Like, you become desensitized to the insanity. When something is so bad like this, it kind of yanks you out of that desensitization. It kind of reminds you, like, this is how bad things can be, by the way. And you go, oh my gosh, this is horrible. They're shoving this down your throat so much I'm choking on it. I think that's a good thing. It reminds people how far Hollywood, Disney, TV production, music, how far all of this has fallen. And you don't have to consume it. You can go back and listen to the old music and watch the old movies and play the old video games. There's lots of them that are great. And then we'll just watch the new stuff flounder like a fish out of water in the sun. We'll just watch it. It stinks and flips around until it eventually comes to an end. That's what they're doing to themselves. The other thing it does is it forces content creators to double down or admit defeat. At some point, they're going to have to say, this content isn't working. We can't make money making this. People are tired of the message. This is woke. We're gonna end as a company unless we change. That's one thing they have to do. But then they have to admit that it's failure. And then they have to have all the leftoids and the NPCs and the crazies come after them and yell at them. And they're going to have to take that heat. And then they're going to grow a callus, and they will continue on making good content for the normies. That has to happen. Or number two, they can continue to make this crap content. They're double down, triple down on how bad it is. They will continue to lose money. They'll continue to lose revenue. They'll continue to lose influence. They'll continue to lose fans until they're irrelevant. And then they can do whatever they want and no one cares anymore. Because it's not, when things are really bad and people hate you, that's where Star Wars was a decade ago or 5 years ago, when people hated them. Now it's apathy. You want to know what's worse than hate? Apathy. Because then, like, I was listening to Critical Drinker the other night. He said, I may stop reviewing this. He said, right now everybody's watching the hell out of my movies, or out of my videos that I make about hating on this. He said, but there is going to come a point in time where people don't even care anymore. Like, they don't even want to hate on it. It's so bad that they're just like, whatever. Let's talk about something else that's more relevant. Apathy is coming for Disney. And for probably in some ways Netflix, although not as much. And definitely for Hollywood, and definitely for the Hollywood actors, and definitely for the news. I got a clip I'm going to play at the end of all of this of Joey Behar. I think her name's Joey Behar. On what they're talking about on the news. I just saw this today. I'm like, really? This is why people are not listening to mainstream news. They're not listening to people because they've gotten to the point of apathy where they just go, you're crazy. I'm not going to listen to you anymore. You're stupid. That's where we're getting with this stuff. And that is a good thing. That is a positive. And lastly, it opens the door for small indie movies and for AI movies. You look at I'm not going to play, there's music playing on this in the background. This is an AI movie. It looks a little bit like a cartoon or a CGI-generated movie. We've seen those before, though. I can't remember any of them off the top of my head, but there's been some CGI movies. Polar Express, I think, is one of them. That's after, I wasn't a kid, so I didn't watch it. Now they've got these AI movies that they kind of look like CGI, but they've got CGI-generated audio and CGI-generated, or CGI, I'm stupid, AI-generated music, AI-generated voice and acting, CGI-generated video. It's still in its infancy, but there will be a point this might actually make it, I'm telling you. It leaves the door open for this content. It leaves the door open for indies. Look at the Godzilla -1. Japan made that movie for $15 million, and it's awesome. The door is open for that. The door is closing on these Disney $200-300 million movies. It's closing on the Hollywood stuff. It's shutting all of it down. That's great. We win. Hollywood loses. They're going to have to either double down and go bankrupt, or they're going to have to admit they're going to have to abandon the message and maybe try to make money again. That is such a big win. I'm just going to breeze down through these real quick. Screen Rant says, what's the title here? I forgot I was at the bottom of it. 10 Signs Hollywood is completely broken in 2023. And this is from July of last year. The writer strikes. They want more money, but now studios can't afford it. So they're going to move to AI. Streaming services are removing their own original content because it sucks. And it's all the messaging. And now there's no reason to sign up because you get to watch old stuff, but there's nothing new coming out that's any good. So the streaming services suck. Multiple major movies are bombing at the box office because of the message. It's costing them millions, if not billions of dollars to fail. They're like, hey, we got a new movie coming out. How much are we going to make? No. It's how much are we going to lose? Actors and filmmaker controversies make movie viewership a moral decision. Do I agree with this person's politics? Do I agree with the message? Do I agree with them crapping on me? Do I agree with them calling me deplorable and awful? And if I don't agree with them, I'm not going to watch their content. They say nostalgia-focused entertainment has limited interest in new ideas. They're not writing anything good anymore. No one cares. Everything that's new sucks. Everything that's a rewrite or a reimagining sucks. There's nothing good and productive coming out of Hollywood. They're out of ideas. Movies and TV shows are getting canceled because they're so bad they're not even getting released. They're becoming money pits. Massive filming budgets set the bar too high. $300 million budgets, $300 million in advertising, which means it's a $600 million to break even. But remember, the cinemas take half the money. So now you got a $300 million to make the film, putting $300 million to advertise it. That's $600 million budget. You got to bring in $1.2 million at the box office just to break even, because half that money goes to the theaters. So then they say, we're going to skip the theaters. We'll put it on streaming. And people will rent, streaming for a month to catch up on all the movies they haven't seen, and then they cancel it because there's nothing else on streaming that's good, because it all sucks because of the message. Or they'll pirate it. Major Hollywood award shows are becoming less relevant because they're raging on you about baby deletion and voting for the right way and how all the DEI and diversities, and if you're not on board with that, you suck. And they say Rotten Tomatoes is broken as a new way of measuring movie opinion because, like the Star Wars here, The Acolyte, 85% critic score, 13% viewer score. The critics at Rotten Tomato hold no sway. As a matter of fact, most people today look, and if the very small user or what's the word I'm looking for? If the very small viewer, the guy next door, if there's 500 people that watched it and they all loved it and they gave it a 90, but 30 critics came out and said it was horrible, people are like, oh, at least it's not woke. It's probably good. Because the critics are now rating everything based on DEI and diversity and the inclusion in the LGHD TV instead of it actually being a good product. So now people are looking at the user scores and not the critic scores anymore. Critics are making themselves irrelevant. And this just came out today. What used to be Project Veritas.
Woke.
I did not push play on that. Project Veritas, which used to be Project Veritas, James O'Keefe from O'Keefe Media, he has undercover video, hidden undercover audio video of an executive at Disney admitting they will not hire white people. Disney's basically come out and said, we do not hire white people. We're not, especially, they say in quotes, there's no way we're hiring a white male. Why would anybody, even if something is good, even if The Acolyte was amazing and everybody loved it, why would you give money to Disney? They hate you. They're basically saying, we don't like you. We don't want your money. We certainly won't hire you to work here because your skin color's wrong and you're a dude. I'm going to play this, and then I'll play I'm just going to play a bit of this, and then I'll play the clip that I was talking about from mainstream media that shows you why they're becoming irrelevant. This is all good news. This is great news. We're finally getting normies out of the matrix, and they can see what the real world is like instead of listening to people on television.
There have been times where, there's no way we're hiring a white male person.
Just kind of unspoken.
There are times when it's spoken, but
how would they say it?
there's no way we're hiring a white male person. They say
Like straight to you, or okay?
They'd be very careful how they message that to agents.
According to these videotapes, Disney blatantly discriminates against whites.
I don't know if the music in the background is copyright. If people want stuff to be shared online, like I'm sure O'Keefe Media wants this stuff to be shared online, stop putting music over things. We don't need the dramatic music. Just play the crap.
White men in particular.
I think.
Well, all right. Anyway, it goes on and on. You get the idea. Disney's like, we're just not hiring white men. You're out. And they've even said, yeah, we're kind of preparing. I'm sure at some point we'll get a lawsuit. Well, they're going to now. I guarantee that. Because this is a Michael Giordano, Senior Vice President and Team Lead of 20th Television at the Walt Disney Company. Now, he's fired. He's fired for running his mouth, of course. But now people can say, hey, look, we've got it on record. Disney's come out and said they don't hire white men. This is good. This is all so good that all of this is coming to light. Lastly, I'm going to leave it with this. This is your moment of zen, a moment to contemplate on. This is Joy Reid on MSNBC, which is a national news channel. They haven't been news in years and years. I want you to listen to how she speaks about a conservative guy that was passing a flag around and joking about how it's going to be white boy summer. And the original theme I think they were discussing when they were talking about being white boy summer is just, hey, you know what? It's okay to be a dude. It's okay to be white. It's okay to push back against the craziness. Listen to how the news, everybody, the news here in the United States talks about the conservative people of the United States.
That right there is right-wing Pizzagate conspiracy theorist Jack Posobiec unfurling a flag reading White Boys Summer, while hats with the same slogan were tossed to the screaming audience. For those who may not remember, and why would you, White Boy Summer was originally a line from a viral 2021 social media rant by legendary actor Tom Hanks's lesser-known son, Chet Hanks. But it wasn't long before the thirsty far right and white supremacists decided it was time to cancel everyone's fun and culturally appropriate the cultural appropriation for their own purposes, using the phrase in their online memes to try to attract unsuspecting white youth to their cause. But Jack Posobiec sure knew what he was doing when he strutted across that stage with that flag, because he's a professional fascism-curious right-wing troll. And at this stage, White Boy Summer is no longer a funny Chet Hanks meme. It's an explicit white supremacist message.
That's the most racist bullshit stuff I've ever heard. That is insane. And I don't know if Jack Posobiec, he's a family man, he's married, he's a former intelligence agent with our government. I don't know if he could sue her, because she directly called him many, many things without any evidence. This is how the news sees you. This is how this is national mainstream news, MSNBC. This is how they see us. I don't think she could have gotten more hateful buzzwords all rumbled together as one. Do you know why mainstream news is failing? It's because of her. Do you know why movies are failing? It's because of them. Do you know why Hollywood is failing? Them. Do you know why people don't care about what Hollywood people think anymore? It's them. Do you want to know who the real hateful, racist people are? It's them. And they're on the outside. They're on the decline. They're the minority. And it's getting to be more and more that way. And the more they beat us over the head, and the more they scream at us, and the more they call us names, and the more they hate on us, you catch flies with sugar, or what is it? I guess you catch more flies with honey than vinegar, as the old expression. All they have is vinegar. That's all they are. Angry, hateful people that will hate you if you don't support them, that will hate you if you have your own opinion, that will hate you if you don't think like they do. They will just hate you. And in the meantime, we're over here on the other side of the aisle, all honey and sugar. We're having fun. We're making fun of it. We're lighting up the stogies and drinking a cold one, watching it all burn to the ground. And they can't stand it. And no matter how much they try to hate, like to shame us and to hate us into liking them and supporting them, it's a one-way street. You know, you can only whip the dog for so long to get him to do what you want to do, and then the dog's going to bite you back. That's what we're doing. We're biting the hands that we feed them. They don't feed us. But they looked at it as they are our superiors and our betters. And they've lost control. And they have no idea how to get it back. Not realizing you need to do what we want. You need to come with the honey and the sugar. And instead they're coming with baseball bats and vinegar, thinking they're going to beat us into submission. None of that is going to work. And that's why the establishment will either have death throes as it fails, or they will do everything in their power to take away our freedoms. And go, you want to know who's a fascist? You're looking at it. You're looking at it. This is the real threat right here. And we're going to laugh at it as it all falls apart. So those are all my reasons for thinking the Acolyte is the best thing to happen to Star Wars in a long time. It's the best thing to happen to us as fans, because now we've reached the point of apathy. It no longer matters what they do with the brand. They can't hurt us by making it bad anymore. Now we just get some entertainment off of watching it rot. And we do our own thing. It's one more thing they may have taken away from us, but now we're enjoying the fact that not only did they take it away from us, but they've ruined it, and they're losing hundreds of millions of dollars as they do it. Our enemies are losing, and that's a good thing, and that's a fun thing, and we're enjoying it. Watch it go away. Guys, if you support my work, you like what I do, make sure to jump over to betterbachelor.locals.com. Become a supporter today. I'd appreciate it. $5 a month. It allows me to do what I love. It allows me to not be reliant on the machine to bring you quality content, or what I hope you see as quality content. And so great community of like-minded guys. All right, man, we'll leave it there. We'll see you guys in the next one.